Hello, greetings, my friends. This is Gilles Mansillon, and we're continuing to continue this alignment and this well-being. It's about a continuation. It's very important to know that the karmic cycle is over. And 2022 is something new. For that, we need to let go of the past, to look forward and not backwards. It's very important, very essential. And I pull one card for the day. And is nothing is better than your home to continue to cultivate your sense of well-being, your sense of to make your home comfortable, or to envision the next place you're going to be as you want it to be. For it is all act of kindness are very important, even small ones. They really participate. All the prayers, all the decrees. We don't see the effect, but they've affected the collective on a very powerful way, and we'll know that at the end of our life we'll be able to feel that. But it's normal to go through ups and downs, because the soul, when that happens, when we go through positive negative experiences or state of being, is because our soul is really working on balancing out the energies. And so once it's all balanced, it will be there is no more need for that. For the soul is very constant in the program. It doesn't let go of anything. It's very focused onto what it needs to do. But it's really the end of a cycle, and that we're experiencing right now. And so and when we connect inside, it's like there's this feeling of familiarity, the love, the well-being inside is really it feels good because it's familiar. It's like we're going to realize we've never been disconnected from source. We can never be disconnected from source. It was just a temporal experience that we provided ourselves. And we're moving towards this 12-12 portal and the 21-12 solstice, and we're moving to this 2022 with completely different energy, as if we're ready. And so, for there is no more love and light on paradise that there are in the universe. But the difference is that on paradise and the central universe, all beings are completely sensitive to this, and go with the flow of the will of the supreme, the ultimate, and the absolute. So it's just, and in the universe there is not the prime deity is not the one who controls the infinite, the infinity matrix. It is the father, mother, god of each universe that have their own developed programs, and there are millions of planets with billions of beings on each of them, and each of them are different programs. But eventually everybody wants to return to source. So it's always been the since the moment of creation of the universe, there's been this desire of returning to source. It's just people have civilizations have very different ways of going about it. The highest wisdom is optimism, to stay very optimistic and positive, to keep to keep your dreams very active, being in the enthusiasm that you know that your dreams are going to come true. Your freedom is near. What we need to understand is energy, the world of energy. Once we move into the causal realm, we're moving into our God self, the causal realm, the first cause. Before there was a separation into duality. So it's learning to work with the world of invisible, the energies. What we have to do is liberation. We need to free ourselves. We need to find the inner freedom and to continue to accelerate to follow the flow, to follow the path. And the outcome is going to be the solution. The solution will come of itself. There is no need to stress about it mostly. So it's mostly about finding the thing that keeps you in line with your frequency until the solution comes in, and listen to your inner soul. For on the outer universe, there are sub-logos, and like Father, Mother, God, they are true logos because they are the gods of the universe. But and then there's the stars that are sub-logos, and we are sub-logos. So it's all, everybody's like doing this part in this great process of evolution that the deities have originally created for expansion. For God did not know anything else but true absolute goodness. And in the experience before the creation of the universe, there was no contrast, and God, as an infinite being, had to feel and to know all the possibilities. It's far vaster than anything we can comprehend or explain. But reality is growing. As far as the more we ascend, the more our reality grows. Once we reach the seventh dimension, if we were born in a planet of six, seven dimension rather than third, fourth dimension, everything from the beginning when we were a child, we'd be educated that to know that whatever we think happens immediately. We manifest all of our thoughts like that. So it's like we'll get there, but we don't need to achieve seventh dimension dimension, the mastery of the individual consciousness, before we can access the portals of infinity. The portal of infinity is on the higher plane of the 7th dimension and on the lower plane of the 8th dimension. Then we move into collective consciousness. But you can already, with your intention, seek to go into this realm of infinity and see what happens there. See, you will find many answers that you could not find anywhere else. So so it's no, yeah, because it's all about getting closer to this original source, and to learn to work with the angels. We have 3 angels that were given. First, we had one guardian angel, which is a pair actually, but then we're given 2 more angels because the program has accelerated. And now recently, the goddess of Venus said that she was given for all light workers an angel from Venus for the rest of our life. It will be there, accompany us during this whole incarnation. So you can count and thank you. Thank him for his presence, and because we're going to become very, very active. The realm of angels is very vast. There's much more angels than there are mortal beings. They're working on all kinds of levels. Of course, there are guardian angels and planetary angels and all kinds of angels. But once we know their specific function, we can utilize them more precisely. Like we can call on the angels of the golden fire to come into the atmosphere and to align the will of God within the atmosphere. There's all kinds of angelic legions that are very specific in function. We'll learn to work with them, to tune into this frequency. And this planet, at the time of the quarantine, 200,000 years ago, there was such a disarray. There was such a confusion in the celestial life because Ascender didn't get fooled. Ascender, but some of the lower life was seduced by the rebels, and so the planet fall into darkness. But when in order to reorganize, now it's all reorganized. For a long time, it's been all reorganized, and upgraded as well. But there's been a super Nathan that was invited, that was called on to come and reorganize the angelic realm on the earth. He's a paradise angel. So he's still there. It's still welcome him. We can also see there is Melchizedek on the planets. There's all kinds of spirits that are stationed here, archangels and so on, that possess great wisdom, and we can communicate with them. For there is no need to wait for the completion of the program of the earth to create the ascension. There is no need for the grand universe to have achieved supremacy, to discover supremacy, to return to God. Then we'll go into the adventure of trying to figure out the ultimate, which is beyond the supreme. And for the time and space cosmos, in its finality, is the game of the supreme ultimate. Here we're just about the supreme with the time and space. But and then the absolute will be something beyond that, very... It's a great mystery. We're always dealing with the paradox of all and nothing. For it's like this void, this toroidal form is always void, but it contains all things. The great divine void is completely empty, yet it contains all things. It is a great mystery. You want to fuse in with this void of void, the great sphere of that which is divine. But what we need to do that is a lot of our suffering comes from our inability to discern between truth and illusions. But it's coming more and more. Huh? We're getting consciousness. Everything happened within the holographic matrix of our consciousness. We are mini universe, and everybody lives within that bubble of time and space. So understanding all the great mythologies are essentially recycled mythologies from Sumerians, from the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the biblical. It's the same mythology that's been rearranged. The Greeks had their own mythology, and most of those stories come from stories before the earth that's been translated, transported here. Also wanted to meet our ultimate soulmate. We need to be whole and to be complete before that happens. And it doesn't mean it's a soul twin. The soul twin is rarely incarnated. I don't see how it could be incarnated in the same time as us. But we can have a soulmate that possesses the energy of our soul twins. That's why it feels so good. And then we meet this soul twin on the invisible planes. And then eventually, once a fusion has happened between the male and female part of ourselves, the soul and the astral body, then we fuse into this incarnated soul, and then God becomes our soul twin. It's the one we're fusing with to achieve higher frequency. For just expressing thoughts and ideas, I hope they resonate with you. And and so so yeah, I also wanted to say to discuss briefly the talking about extraterrestrial for most stopping putting labels on things, the good, bad, negative, positive. For everybody is going about. We just once we are in your power, you're able to discern and to choose consciously, but because even the negatively, what we call negatively oriented extraterrestrials, are just the different ways about going the exploration of God and source and the universe. It's about conquest and exploration when there are beings that are more into internal connection to source. Like it was the difference between the Lyrians, the original Lyrians, were about the conquest of the universe, the outer manifestation, when the vegan wanted to keep the inside the connection to source. They did not want to lose that connection. And a lot of vegans are very powerful influence on all spirituality on the planet. For all the even the Zeta Reticuli, they were a race of humanoid beings created by the Lyrians, like Orions, like Sirius, like us, like Pleiades, like Alpha Centauri. Everything was created from there. They're the ones, but the Zeta Reticuli were called on for unifying the field of the Earth, because they were a civilization of like humans, but the models was working within one mind. They didn't have different minds. They all work within the one mind. They were not negative beings. And then eventually conflict started and factions created, and they started with they destroyed their planet in atomic wars. They took refuge inside the planet. Those who survived, they lost the ability to reproduce, so they went into cloning to survive. And then when they came out on the surface, they realized they were in a different constellation. But then they had to find a way to retrieve some of their emotional body and individuality, and so that's why they came to the Earth, because they were called to assist humanity. And there was such a conflict on the Earth at some point that the Asian society had to be created in a more peaceful manner. So they took some of the genes from the Zeta Reticuli, and it was created on the model of Arcturians with vegan mysticism and Pleiadian spirituality as well. So it's like this way. It's the civilization, Asian civilization, is more balanced in their philosophy energies. So because there's always been like even or what we call Orion is a mix between the Syrians and the Lyrians, and they were like before the but the light of Orion is this beautiful light. It is the pyramid. The pyramid were anchored to affirm the power of Orion on the planet. And the light of Orion is the light of the light. It is the transmuted energies from negativity into balanced energies. So it is very it is something we need to work in and work with. And because even the Lemurians were very Arcturians models before and then they get attacked by Atlantis. They had to take refuge on the inner plane as the Agarthian. But when the Atlantis was a mix of all the people, the souls that came from all over the place, trying to find a way to reconcile them. And it worked for 200,000 years. There was a beautiful society, although they were into space exploration and conquest and all that. Uh, then eventually there were some beings that there's some human sacrifice and so on, and demons were drones, and then the master said that's enough. The mighty messengers came and destroyed the island. It was the famous deluge 17,500 years ago. And then re-emerged 5 islands, and the society was more polarized between the Aryans and Sons of Belials, which were into a militarist, patriarchal, and then the Atlara, which were matriarchal, who would control the technology, when the Aryans controlled the tools of productions. And eventually the Aryans took control of the technology, the second moon of Atlantis, and tried to use it as a weapon, and that created the final destructions of that plane. All of that will come back, but for most society that's externally polarized will go into technology, conquest, and space exploration. When society is more vegan mysticism is more about connecting to the source, which we want to have both. We want to have a balanced energy to understand the Earth is the resolving ground for this Orion parameter. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I've been working on that painting. I returned to the arrows in turquoise, so it kind of works. I still need to refine a little bit the center and the color of the planet, but this one is pretty much finished. It's also the grand universe, the totality of the space reality. So right now there is about six 6,500 billion planets, but there will be no more in time and space than 6 trillion. Sorry, than 7 trillion. So that's going to be the end of that. So then we'll have to evolve them, and then getting ready for it's still it'll take a long time. The cosmic time is very different than human time as we perceive it. And so I'm going to sing a song to finish. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I wanted to finish with a song, to finish in music. And it's an old song. I'm not sure who sang it, but somebody probably will know. It goes like this. What a difference a day makes. There's 24 little hours, brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear, since you said you were mine. Lord, what a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you. So let us find ourselves today, for we make the difference. We continue to work with the alignment and the good feeling, so to make your paradise home here and now, because it's going to be a lot of shaking up. The world is going to be shaked up. Right now they're printing so much bills, it's going to create hyperinflation, 10, 20, 30% inflation, and this money they only exchange between themselves. Very little goes into the people's pocket, but that's going to force a reinitialization of the system, and a system that will be inclusive to or beyond democracy, into the age of light and wisdom. And the card of the day is the Empress, the Archangel Gabriel. It is time to manifest your project. Your creativity is being rewarded. Luxury and abundance. Wow, wonderful. So it is all there. It is all getting ready. It is all starting now. I wish you a wonderful day. Be ready. Enjoy yourself. And I'll talk to you later. Adonai.